Hello, my name is Laura, and I am a fucking mess. Do you ever just like have a little bit of a mental breakdown and then buy things on Amazon that you didn't necessarily need to buy, want to buy? Want is the wrong word. I really did want to buy them, but like it was just unnecessary. So I woke up this morning to an email that my package had shipped. I didn't really remember buying it. I had a rough night last night. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that I bought Kitten Tits by Holly Wilson, and also I stabbed it when I opened the box. Do we see that imperfection? I was too aggressive with the scissors when I opened the package. That is on me. So everything about this is a mess, and I thought it would be fun to read this in a vlog. I don't actually know anything about this book other than hilarious name, cute kitty on the cover, and it is from Gillian Flynn's imprint, which, as I'm doing this, you probably can't read that, but it is her imprint. So I'm real excited about that because Gillian Flynn, right? It's Gillian, not Jillian. But she has decided to do imprints instead of writing more books. And I guess that's a totally acceptable life choice that she can make, but like I don't have to be happy that she's currently not writing anything that I'm aware of. But this just seemed really interesting. And also, Gillian has blurbed this by saying, "I truly love this book, one of the greatest young female characters I've had the luck of reading." Stormy, what are we doing? Should I call you Kitten Tits? Anyway, so what this book is about, readers beware, Kitten Tits may seem sweet, but she has claws. That was a review. It's 1992. Already super invested. I love the 90s nostalgia that's happening right now, even if I didn't like Middle of the Night. Which, by the way, I didn't like Middle of the Night. It's 1992, and 10-year-old Molly 10-year-old Molly is tired of living in the fire-rotted, nun-haunted house of Friends, a semi-cooperative living community of peace, faiths in action, with her formerly blind dad. Can you recover from being blind? Am I stupid for not knowing that? With her formerly blind dad and their grieving housemate Evelyn. But when 23-year-old Jeannie, a dirt bike riding ex-con with a shady past, moves in, she quickly becomes the object of Molly's adoration. She might treat Molly terribly, but they both have dead moms and potty mouths. So naturally, Molly is the moth to Jeannie's scuzzy flame. I love the word scuzzy. Why did we stop saying that? When Jeannie fakes her own death in a hot air balloon accident. What? Okay, how are hot air balloons that ubiquitous in this universe? And second of all, that you can fake your own death in a hot air balloon accident? I'm so invested in Jeannie's chaos. Molly runs away to Chicago with just a stolen credit card and a sweet pair of LA Gear Heat Waves. I don't know what those are. Am I a bad millennial? I was a small child in 1992. I was 2. She runs away with a sweet pair of LA Gear Heat Waves to meet her pen pal DeMarcus and hunt down Jeannie. What follows is a race to New Year's Eve as Molly and DeMarcus plan a seance to reunite with their lost moms in front of a live audience at the World's Fair. A surrealist and bold take on the American coming-of-age novel. Holly Wilson's debut is about the interstices about loss and grief and friendship. There's a word, I don't know why I can't say that, whatever word that is, but I can't. And this has been blurbed by Amelia Gray, author of Gutshot, which I've never heard of, Lindsay Hunter, who wrote Hot Springs Drive, which I've never heard of, Kristen Arnett, who wrote With Teeth, which I've never heard of, Samantha Irby, who I've never heard of, Kevin Wilson, author of Nothing to See Here. I have heard of it, I haven't read it yet, it is on my Kindle. And Gillian Flynn herself, of course. Anyway, I thought I was wearing pink. This is called Kitten Tits. I thought it was just like a good time to start a reading vlog about possibly the weirdest book I've ever seen. That's inherently not true, but it's definitely up there. Oh, kind of wish this was pink too. Also, now that I'm rambling, why do so many books have a different color spine? to their cover? Like what's the purpose of it? Like book of the month and aardvark, I think do it to like be aesthetic. But then like Crescent City over here, why did you do it? You're not book of the month. You're not aardvark. I can think of 0 other books offhand that are doing this, but I'm thinking about it now. Why do some books do it and some books don't that are not inside of book boxes? They don't count. Yeah, so I will update you when I actually start reading Kitten Tits. How many times can I say Kitten Tits? If I ever get monetized, I don't think this video would be monetized. Can I say tits? I'm gonna. Okay. I realize this is like the worst. Oh God, okay. So it's been like a month since I recorded the intro to this vlog, and I haven't read the book yet because I kept waiting for like the right moment. Obviously, when I recorded that intro, I thought I had the right moment, but I didn't. So I haven't started it yet, and I can't really move. As you can tell, I'm shining a light on myself. Woo, okay. Clearly my power went out, and I was like, it's the middle of the work day, but I can't work because I have no power, and I can't see because I'm shining a light in my eye. And I was like, okay, this is like the perfect time. This is it. Like, this is the moment. So I don't know if I can finish it all in one day. Like, I think it's over 400 pages. I will correct myself at some point. But I'm like, this is the moment. I've literally nothing else I can do. Without this flashlight, I can actually see with the natural light well enough. It's Hurricane Debbie. That's what's causing all of this, in case you didn't know. This is a hurricane. Are my glasses fogged? I bet they are. I can't even tell. As I say, I can see without light. I took a shower. I took an in the dark shower. I'm pure chaos today. And luckily I just charged my portable charger. So like I will have my phone all day, all night, because it has for how old it is, it has a really strong battery life. Like I haven't charged it in months, maybe even over a year, and it still had like 75% battery life. So it's like a really good charger. I'm using it for London, but I'm like, okay, well now I have battery, so I don't have to worry about that. I have one light source, which makes it look not very strong, but it's an LED light. It's actually very strong. And I have my phone flashlight. So all I have to do is just order out all my meals. So I have nothing to do today but read. This never happens. Like I don't have a lot like going on in my life. Like I'm not a busy person, but I always have distractions. I don't have those today. And yeah, I could scroll on TikTok for like 30 hours. And I'm not saying that won't happen, but like I do have to be somewhat conscious of my battery. But now I have to, God, okay. I'm so sorry. I need to stop. This is terrible, but I'm excited. So I'm gonna just kind of like read Kitten Tits all day. And also it's been a month, and like, am I wearing the exact same shirt that I was when I filmed the beginning? Yes. What are the odds? Literally accidental. But like it all just like feels right. Unless I hate the book, which would be horrendous. I have like weirdly high hopes for no reason. Anyway, I'm gonna stop doing this ghoulish lighting and I will check it. Oh, okay. Spectrum just texted me and they're like, oh, by the way, you have an out. Of course I have an outage. I have no power. Depending on the lighting situation, I don't know how many updates I'll give because like I'm not gonna do a ton of this. But if I finish the book, I will probably do a spooky update just because like I need to talk about it when I finish, or else I'll lose it all, because I'm sure a lot of you can relate that as soon as you finish a book, it's just like immediately the slate wipes and you don't remember anything. So enjoy this weird, it looks like I've got like cat eyes and my glasses are making a weird shadow. Okay, I will talk to you when I have an update or when I finish or something in between. Okay, bye. Will I ever have good lighting? Probably not. I don't think I can turn this off. Can I? No. That's worse. I could just move. I could do that. Hey, look. That's my hair. Okay, whatever. Okay, it is 6 p.m. I don't remember what time it was when I filmed my really bizarre in the dark clip. Obviously, I have power again. Where was I going with this? I have power, and I almost fell off the couch. That's not really part of the story, but I was reading on the couch, and my power came back on. Ow, foot cramp. Oh my God. That was
so painful. I didn't realize how much ambient noise I have. Like, I noticed my house was super quiet, but you don't realize like how quiet it is until it turns back on, and they all turned on at once and I almost fell off the couch. Anyway, I wish that had been recorded. You wouldn't have been able to see it because I have no friggin' natural light in this house, which I knew. Ironically, it is something that drew me to this place because it's very woodsy and cozy, but days like today, that was bad. Anyway, I finished this book and I hated it. So two things that I hated that are not like the book's fault because there is an audience for it. It is extremely stream of consciousness, which I don't love. I think that's people said that about the Stephen Grant Jones series, My Heart is a Chainsaw, the Indian Lake trilogy. I think people say that's also stream of consciousness. I really liked book 1. I loved book 2 even more, and then I hated book 3. This kind of reminded me of that same vibe of book 3. So I'm not shocked I didn't love that. It has no quotation marks, which I loathe. However, those were both intentional writing choices that just don't work for me. So like that alone, those two things pretty much make it like a 1-star for me, but since I don't think that's fair, you know, because that was the intent from the author. Those things don't work for me. Had I known that prior to picking this up, I would have never picked up this book. So I'm factoring that out of my rating because I just don't think it's fair. But the whole story, I'm left wondering like what the point of it is. It's a coming of age story, I guess. And like our protagonist Molly is living with her dad and this woman. I personally was never super clear on who she was. Like they're Quakers and she was part of that. But like, was she just like this nice old woman? I guess. I don't know. And some of what I don't know is because at some point I just kind of like was finishing it to finish it. So I did not comprehend a lot, which is a me problem as well. But they take in I was gonna say it's a foster child. It's not. The house they're living in is essentially a halfway, well, I don't know if I don't think it is a halfway house, but it is treated as one for Jeannie. Is that her name? Yes, for Jeannie to come stay in after she gets out of prison. Molly becomes obsessed with Jeannie. Jeannie is like 24. She's accused of killing her sister. She's just kind of like an angry girl. And so you're just kind of following that. But something I really and well and truly hated about this book is the language. Now, one, I am not opposed to swearing. I swear a lot. I say I enjoy it. That feels weird. Like it's part of my vernacular. I'm not opposed to it. I don't clutch my pearls. Like it's fine. But I also think there's a time and a place. Like, and it doesn't need to be every other sentence. Well, it doesn't need to be every other sentence either. It doesn't need to be every other word. You don't need to say it a lot. I feel like swear words are really more effective when you use them in the right way as opposed to just like beef up your sentence. You know? When I say this, when I say I don't like the language in this book, like please understand that I'm not a prude. Like I don't hate swearing. There is an overly excessive use of I don't know if I'm like allowed to say this. It's a slang for the R slur. They do say the R slur a handful of times, which I still feel is unnecessary, but the slang is used. And multiple times our narrator is just beyond ableist. And as someone who grew up in the 90s and the early aughts, I know that this is common because I am guilty of it. I am not pretending like this language isn't realistic. And I'm sure there are plenty of kids who said it as often as this book is saying it. I'm not denying those facts. What I am saying is this book was written in 2023, 2024. And the gratuitous use of that word and its slang is just unnecessary. Like, I would argue it doesn't need to be said at all. I think there are ways to imply that it's being said without using it. So you can kind of say, this is authentic to the 1990s experience, while understanding in 2024 we don't still use that language. Like, I think there is a balance to be struck. And instead, she went full offensive to my perspective. I am able-bodied. I cannot speak for that community. Maybe I'm overreacting, but it feels very unnecessary. I would argue, if I had this on Kindle and I did a search for that slang, I would bet that it comes in at almost 352, because that's how many pages there are. Like, I would bet the number of times that word is used is in the hundreds. Like, it's gratuitous and it's unnecessary. So that I didn't like. There were some genuinely funny moments. Like, Molly is talking to a ghost because she can see ghosts, and she's talking to the ghost of a black boy, and she asks him how he died and just spews a bunch of racist crap at him. And then the ghost is like, are you racist or stupid? And then the girl is just like, well, I'm not stupid. It's like, okay, sweetie. But I guess the point of this book is it's a girl who has lost her mother and is, she's turning, how old is she? I thought she was older. In the end, I think she was around 13. That was my assumption. Let's see. Oh, she's 10. Okay. Some of that makes a little bit more sense. The pushing of the boundaries and such. So she's 10 years old. She's obviously lost emotionally, and she doesn't have her mother, but she doesn't remember her mother because her mom died when she was young. But she's hitting an age now where she needs guidance, kind of in a feminine space, where her dad is still too weighed down by grief, and this Evelyn woman that they live with is not a maternal figure. She's mostly her teacher and her religious guider. And so the story is like following her pushing boundaries and following this cool girl and wanting more out of life, and being upset that she can see ghosts but she can't, like, the ghost of her mom doesn't come see her. And I think, as I'm rambling, there is a good story in here, but like, for this to be the first book from Gillian Flynn's imprint that I've read, I don't know if it's the first one she's printed. I have not looked far into her imprint. I am so disappointed. I love Gillian Flynn, and I love the cover of this book, which I'm not going to stand up because the cover is over there. But like, well, you know what? I mean, that's what it looks like, just pink. I love that, and I love that Gillian Flynn's imprint is a cat. I love that the name is Kitten Tits. I think that's funny because the Jeannie calls 10-year-old Molly Kitten Tits, presumably because she's prepubescent. And their friendship was funny. I did listen to some of this on audio, and that helped a lot with the lack of quotation marks. That part I liked. I think the narrator did a great job. But overall, this just felt like I don't get the point. And I didn't, like, my fault for not looking up the genre. I kind of expected Gillian Flynn's imprint to be thrillers. Obviously, when I read the description of this like a couple weeks ago, I realized it wasn't a thriller, but that's on me. This just wasn't good. And it's a really pretty cover, so I'm probably going to keep it for a while. But like, I'm so disappointed. I think I'm still landing at a 2. Why have I been reading such terrible books lately? I have some really good ones in between. There are good books, they're just never on film. I'm just reading the bad ones for you. Okay, well, here's to hoping I don't lose power again. I do think the worst of the storm is over, hopefully. And I will see you in another video in the future. Editing Laura, just kind of jumping in real quick. I was just kind of rewatching my rant at the end of this book, and the more I think about it, the more I hate this book. Something I didn't mention in my rant, because the R slur tangent was just throughout the entire book, so it was, I never forgot about it. But there's other things wrong with this book too, including the homophobia obviously the book has racist moments. I do think the author tried to like call out the racism, but I would argue maybe you didn't need to include it at all. You could have just not had your protagonist make racist comments. Like that would have been fine. That was a choice you could have made and didn't. The homophobia is something that was very likely, again, realistic to the 90s, but not something you had to include in this book. Molly could have been an accepting child. Yes, she grew up Quaker, but we don't discuss what that means for her in terms of her beliefs. So she just continually calls the neighbors lesbos and is just homophobic towards them in her. Like, it's all just gross and unnecessary. Like, how many times can I say this book has unnecessary language? And then, on top of all of those things, there's a scene early in the book that is so gross because 24-year-old Jeannie has 10-year-old Molly pull out a tampon from Jeannie's body. The scene is not played sexually, but like there's no sane way to take that. Why was that included? That was just so unnecessary, and I'm shocked that I even forgot. But it happens so, I think one of the reviews said that happens before the 7% mark. So I mean, like, it happens early. This book is just bad. Like, I think I gave it 2 stars. The more I think about it, the more I want to give it 1 star. Like, it's just not good. Avoid it. And this leaves me with such a bad taste for Gillian's imprint. And I mean, like, I will try the imprint again, but clearly I need to do a lot of research before I do, because this was offensive in so many ways.